Hey folks, what's happening? Good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's 4 a.m. here. Very quiet, peaceful morning, like late night. And I'm about to do my fourth sample review from this line of Casamorati that I bought few days back from Perfume Bangladesh. This is called Regio, I think. Or I think Regio. So these are samples, and you can see like they have about 2 ml samples, I believe, EDP concentration. Previously, I reviewed some of them. I have only one left, as you can see the names: Lira, Mephisto, Gentilumo, and I did, I think, 1888. The last one is Dolce Amalfi. That is an interesting one. I think perhaps one of my favorites as well, just like Lira and Mephisto, Gentilumo, or 1888. They're all good. But I reviewed few other, Fiero, and what else? I don't remember that many. So this is basically Xerjoff, very expensive fragrances. I think in Bangladesh they're under $200 for a big bottle. Nice presentation. Bottles are very cool, heavy cap, very awesome looking bottles. So I'll let you know my thoughts on Regio. So this fragrance is basically, I think it's a cold weather fragrance. It's a very strong fragrance. It's composition wise, when I sprayed for the first time, I'm not gonna spray it again, but I have it on the paper. Yeah, it's here. I pre-sprayed this just to find out, like what I get, uh, just like second thought. But this fragrance I sprayed for the first time, I was not like wowed. The other ones they wowed me. This one didn't wow me because very simple reason. This one smelled familiar. I'm like, I know the smell. At first I thought it's Bulgari Man in Black, because when you spray it for the first time, what happens is, let me spray this, not on my skin definitely, but on the paper. Okay, let's just go two sprays. So when you spray for the first time, it gives you sort of like this woody, kind of like a dark chocolatey opening, and you're like, I smell this before, this darkness, is it Bulgari Man in Black? Then I'm like, no, let's give it some time. As time progressed, after 2-3 hours, then I smelled it again, and that's when I realized it's very similar to another fragrance from Tom Ford. And I'll tell you something crazy, it smells very similar to Black Orchid by Tom Ford, the EDP. Okay, or even if you talk about Velvet Orchid, similar to those. And I'm like, I must be crazy. How come Xerjoff is, like following Tom Ford, or whoever followed who? But I'm not saying this is a pinpoint clone, but it smells very close to Black Orchid. So what I did on dry down, after smelling the dry down, I went Fragrantica. I'm like, I must be crazy. Then I saw no fragrance suggestions. Like no one suggested this is similar to Black Orchid. I'm like, uh-huh. Then I'm like, let me suggest. So I added suggestion Black Orchid Tom Ford, and it showed with the 2 negative votes. And I'm like, yes, someone suggested already, but people downvoted it. So my nose is not completely broken. So this fragrance is very similar to Tom Ford Black Orchid with some differences. Tom Ford Black Orchid, what you get from this is it's a top seller. This fragrance, make no mistake, this is a Tom Ford's best seller, as well as this fragrance is basically, how do I put it without showing my face? Okay, yeah. This fragrance is one of my favorites. It has chocolate, truffle. It has kind of like a very dark, sort of like a black florals, like a black orchid. Imagine that. And then even similar to its sister, purple orchid, like what is it? Velvet orchid, sorry, velvet orchid, yeah. So these fragrances are for women, but this was sold as unisex. Like people bought this as unisex. Men like it more than women. So there's a lot of clones, but I never really found any clones better than Black Orchid. Black Orchid remained a beautiful fragrance. So basically, if you do like Black Orchid, you're gonna enjoy this. But to you, it will questions will arise. Like if I'm paying for Black Orchid, let's say $120, okay, this fragrance is gonna cost you around, like if you pay retail, over 200, and Tom Ford is gonna cost you well under 200. So you'll think like I'm getting same amount of juice, and Tom Ford has also better lasting power. Why would I buy this? And I'll tell you, there are some subtle differences. On the opening, it does smell like something else, like reminds me of Tom Ford Noir, I think Extreme, a little bit of that kulfi, little bit, not by much. Okay, this fragrance. Okay, so some elements of this, the sweetness, this is a little bit more sweet than Black Orchid. It has a little bit of feel of that Tom Ford Noir Extreme, and the fragrance is also long lasting. So those are justification for you to try it. If you never smell Black Orchid, this might be better to you than Black Orchid, but I like Black Orchid better. So this fragrance is not completely unique at this point. That's what I'm trying to say. When I was reviewing this other three, let me show you. Lira, Mephisto Gentle Momo, 1888. Mephisto smells a little bit like Silver Mountain Water, but way better. But these three fragrances are really nice, really, really nice. I really love them. This one Regio is not a love, unfortunately. It's an okay fragrance. I like the DNA, but it smells like Black Orchid. So yeah, just wrong timing, I guess. But long lasting, good. I think there's some sort of creaminess that I also got from Valentino Uomo Intense. It's similar to those, kind of like a leathery, uh, chocolatey, dark, little bit fresh, kind of like creamy, balmy. It will go perfectly with a leather jacket and cold weathers. That's where I see this happening. You can wear this for, if you're a lady, you can wear this for your dates, but um, like this does not really feel seductive in that way like Black Orchid does or Noir Extreme does. These fragrances are very much built for compliments. This one feels like more serious, okay? So perhaps not good for dates. Just my humble opinion. You can do whatever you want. But this fragrance, you really have to test, get a sample like this, then you can tell if it's worthy or not. But for me, it's like a pass, okay? Because if you already have Black Orchid, no point buying this. Black Orchid is cheaper, longer lasting on my skin, and a lot more interesting, a bit more creamy. But if you like Valentino more intense, if you like Black Orchid and Tom Ford Noir Extreme, you can definitely give it a try. It reminds you those other fragrances, definitely something leathery, woody. Okay, so that's Regio for you from Casamorati line, Xerjoff. So overall, this fragrance I'm giving 7 out of 10, still out of respect. Nice presentation, nice longevity, So nice composition. Okay, definitely give it a try. Thanks for watching. I think that's all for now. I'll just sign out. Have a very nice day or good evening. See ya. Bye bye.